Welcome back, party people. Today I'm going to show you what you need to do to keep your 10, 15, 20, 30-year-old truck alive in the Northeast if you decide to drive it during the winter months. So for anybody who knows, in the Northeast, there is a ton of salt they put on the roads. Salt makes metal rust. We all know these things. So what do you need to do to keep your truck looking like this? Now, I'm not saying there's not nicer trucks out there, but this has 255,000 miles on it, and it still has its original rockers. And although they are not perfect, they are there, and there are no holes in them. So that is just kind of an example of what, the shape that this is in. We'll get under here, under the frame. You can see we've got most of our frame coating left and all that kind of jazz. Everything looks pretty darn good. A little bit of flakes and stuff here and there, but that's going to happen from time to time. Axle's in good shape. Nothing is like super bottom of the ocean crusty on this thing. Everything looks pretty good. So what's the secret, or what do we do here? First of all, every year, twice a year, but really you probably don't need to do it twice a year, I coat the entire undercarriage with Crown undercoating. All right, that stuff right here. Crown rust protection and lubricant. Makes a huge difference. That is the sole reason this truck is in the shape that it's in, I think, given where it's lived most of its life, or I think as far as I know, its entire life. I bought it when it was 10 years old with 83,000 miles, and I started coating it then, and it really has gotten minimally worse from a corrosion perspective in 170,000 miles worth of driving. The worst part, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it, is there's a little bit of fender rust under the flares. But anyway, we'll talk about all that stuff. So number one thing is Crown. Number two thing is a springtime pressure wash, because even though I've driven in some heavy rain already with this thing, if you'll notice, and I'm trying to find a good spot where you can see it, see all that grime on there? So if you look, okay, I can take my finger and wipe away a lot of dirt here, okay, just as an example. Well, all that dirt is actually a salt sand mixture from winter. So what happens is, as the weather warms up, you can kind of see it in here, on the wheel bearing, or on the ball joint and all that kind of stuff. So what happens is, as time goes on, in spring and into summer, all this debris that you can see on here is sitting on your frame essentially all summer. And the Crown will mostly protect you from it. It's really not a huge deal, but it definitely isn't ideal. And you'll get grime sitting inside the frame rails and little chunks of rust and everything else. And as it gets wet, it'll just start to rust everything slowly but surely, especially in areas behind your gas tank, like the frame rail up in there. I don't know if you can see, but that is a known corrosion spot on these trucks. Try to get the camera in there for you if I can. And it's pretty clean on this truck, but you can see there's just starting to be some rust back there. So that's an area you want to make sure gets coated. You can see the frame's a little bit crusty right there, where that tank is really mating up to the frame. So you got to be careful, because you could have a perfectly good frame and it rots out in that one spot, right here, and all of a sudden your truck is totaled for something stupid. Another favorite rot spot on these trucks, and pretty much any truck, right, is this right where the lift is, basically, right where the lift arm is, on this bottom corner, because all the debris will come down the frame and sit right there. So you want to get your pressure washer in there and wash all that out. With a C-channel frame, it's easier, because obviously I can get in the C-channel and blow water in all directions. But you can do it with a box frame. You just got to get creative and get in the holes and stuff like that. What you're going to want to do is get yourself, don't mind this, get yourself a 90 degree, or actually 45 and 90 degree spray head. This is just helpful because you can turn this and really get into the nooks and crannies better. It gets a little unwieldy because it wants to kind of fly around when you're pressure washing, but you'll figure it out. So you definitely want that. And then what you're going to do before you start washing anything is pull all of your little rubber caps. So underneath any car, pretty much, you've got various rubber caps that block off critical areas or, you know, keep stuff from getting in. But right now we want stuff, i.e. water, you know, to get in and flush that out. So we're gonna flush the rockers from their drain ports. We'll flush them from up top here and just kind of, you know, do everything we can get a pressure washer onto to make this thing, you know, nice and clean. And keep in mind, I'm not using soap specifically because I actually want to leave as much of the oily crown residue as possible. I just want to remove any of the debris. So the beauty of using just the crown or just the pressurized water and cold water is that you'll kind of blow away all the sand and dirt, but you'll leave and dissolve the salt, but you'll leave the crown on there. So I usually touch up the crown in springtime like right now anyway, just because I'm a little bit overly cautious about it, but you really don't have to. And I have a video on how I crown this thing. I have a couple videos, I think. I'll post it on a link here if you want to go check those out. I'm not going to show you again how to do that. I think my first couple videos were pretty good on it. Basically, all that it consists of is just hosing the entire undercarriage and all the nooks and crannies down, you know, via these drain holes and stuff with the oil-based undercoating. It's pretty straightforward. Again, there's videos on that, so you can see that. But you know, one more little walk around here. I mean, this truck, although not perfect, for a 255,000 mile Northeastern vehicle, is really no worse for wear, which I find pretty remarkable in the scheme of things. So I'm super happy with the product and the process that I've been using. And I'm just gonna kind of time lapse you, you know, as I power wash it, and you can kind of get a rough idea of what I'm doing. And this will probably be a relatively short video, but I just kind of want to show you guys the difference. So as you can see, you're gonna get a little dirty. This is not the cleanest, most fun job. You're gonna get wet, but if you care about the truck, right, then you're willing to do it. I'm not hiding anything from you guys. So like there's a chunk of paint that flaked off. This was a little rusty 5 years ago when I painted it. I sanded it all down and stuff, but hey, you know, nothing lasts forever. It's still a 255,000 mile truck. So I'm just being completely real with you guys, but still in really good shape overall. Like I kind of said, like you can see in the time lapse, I'm just flushing out, you know, all these little nooks and crannies and just doing the best I can. You're never going to get them perfect, but just get a hose or get the power washer in everywhere you can. And like there's still debris on there, and that's okay because there's crown stuck to it and whatever, but you're just trying to get the most that you can. And if you look, you can see all of the debris on the ground, right? Like there's so much sand and just dirt that comes off the frame. I don't know if that's a good angle on it there, but there's just so much. And then there's like flakes of rust or like paint chunks off the frame, you know, because that's going to happen over time, right? But you're at least getting that stuff removed, so then you can recoat it with crown and keep it protected. So the bare metal, you have a layer of bare metal and then you've got like a flaking layer of paint over it. That doesn't do you any good. So it's really, really good to do this. I will say if you crown a vehicle from day one or do your favorite oil-based undercoating, hang on. You know, do whatever your favorite oil-based undercoating is. You probably don't necessarily need to power wash it in the springtime. The oil-based undercoating will protect all these things, you know, in and of itself. But it can't hurt to do, especially if you have a lift. It's easy. Even if you're crawling on your back, it's actually not too bad. I actually have found, believe it or not, I seem to get less wet if I'm laying on my back doing this, because you're kind of put the power washer over your head and you're not like right above yourself. Not that that's a huge deal if it's warm enough outside, but you know, it is what it is. It's going to be a messy job. Maybe you can find a high schooler or something in your neighborhood if you're older and have them do it and kind of teach them how once, and then they can do it, you know, whatever it is, but it is a good idea. People will put sprinklers like underneath their truck and let the sprinkler rinse off the undercarriage. I don't think that's a bad idea. I just don't think it's as thorough. And then you still would ideally want to get inside the rockers and stuff. So I'm not against that idea, but just know its limitations, I guess I would say. That'd be my only thing with that. So anyway, that's going to close this video out. I'm going to do a couple other little things in the truck, but nothing I really think I need to video. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.